Hi guys, it's Max and I'm at the closing table. This is my favorite table of all time. This is where I've closed most of my files. Not every file gets closed at Presque Isle Closing Services, but I really do like this firm because I love the services that Lynn provides. I like the strong communication. I like the way that the attorneys explain things. But seriously, closing, there's so many things that go into this. Prior to being here at the table, we meet with clients at the property to take one final walk through it to make sure that it's everything that they signed up to buy, to make sure that we haven't broken a window in the meantime, that the grass has been cut. So those are the kinds of things that we take care of prior to this table, so when you sign your life away, you feel good about it. Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning in to Max's Home Survival Guide. Today we're here with Lynn Fallon, who is a paralegal with Presque Isle Closing Services, and she's here to explain closing day and what goes into it.
Okay.
Pretty
So
crazy.
just closing day, that's all we're talking about. There's a lot more that goes into it
There's a
before
lot.
closing day. So the day of closing, you should have already gotten, hopefully from me, if you're working with me, the final closing costs. So you would have had to go to your bank and get a cashier's check for the amount of your closing costs. We also offer, if you would prefer a wire, you can always do a wire. So once you have your check, which is made out to you, we do that because 3 reasons. Number 1, it's easier for you to spell your own name. Number 2, the bank sometimes will charge if you do it to a third person, so we never know. And then last but not least, the 3rd reason is the most important. If we have a problem at the closing table and there's a lender involved, if you dump money into your bank account, the lender doesn't like that.
Right.
And they expect you to have a certain amount at closing. So
Right.
if you take that money out and they can't prove where it went because it's a cashier's check,
Right.
we can't cut you a check because that will take 3 days to go into your bank account. So the cashier's check with your name on it can be deposited directly right back into your account with no problems. So that's the reason we do it that way. So when you come to the closing table, you'll walk into my office. I will greet you if I can, unless I'm doing paperwork for you. I come out, I say, "Hi, are you ready to buy your house?" And then I ask you for your driver's license. I need that for the purpose of notarizing because I am your notary. When you come in for your closing, there's a few documents that you will sign here at the table that need notarized. So
Don't be that person.
Yes, please remember your ID, whether it's a driver's license, some state ID. The lender also requires me to fill out a form for them to prove that you are who you are today at closing. So once I have that, then I introduce you to the attorney. Pennsylvania does not require an attorney at closing, but we have one. Presque Isle offers it free of charge, is not an extra charge to you. We offer an attorney to go through the documents with you. We do this because the lender documents are legal documents that you are signing. So the attorney can explain them in full detail if you want, or she can just shoot through them very quickly. Yes, depending on how you want your closing. I work with the law firm Starrett, Mott, Bresky, and Shimmick. They're very good, primarily Laura Mott and Greg Bresky. Both are very good attorneys, and they will answer any questions that you have at the closing table. In the meantime, I am cutting checks and getting your owner's title policy ready for you if you decided to get one. And then once you're all done, we take pictures and we say congratulations, and that's your closing day.
Right. Very nice. Lynn is cutting me a check at closing. This is when I get paid as an agent. I don't do this for the money, it's really for the experience and to be able to walk someone through this process. If you knew the stress and the sleepless nights that go into it and the cheers and the banging on the steering wheel you experience as an agent who has more than one file at a time, enough to live on, I think you'd realize that we're not in it for the money. We're really in it to provide that experience to people. We're passionate about home ownership and about our communities. And those are the best real estate agents. Those are the ones that stay in the business for the longest amount of time. But I could work with a client for a year looking at homes. We could look at 50 or 60 homes before we even get to a point where we enter into an agreement of sale with a particular home. And then once we do that, we talk about all of these different services, and so you're overwhelmed with all of these decisions to make. I provide you 3 recommendations on inspections, 3 recommendations for closing, for your attorney, for really every service. And I could go through them, but they'll be overwhelming. I'm already starting to sweat over here. So, you get overwhelmed, and there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, but this is actually my payday as well.
So we make sure our goal here, at least in my office, is to not have to bother you with all of the details. We try to make sure we get all of the background stuff, so when you sit down here, you're just, oh, this was so easy. That is our goal.
Right.
So we try to get as much in the background for you as we can. So you have to have a good team for that, and working with Max is usually, we have a good team. I think we put together a good team. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's changes that are constantly made to that team. It's alive, and so it's always changing and moving and adjusting to what the market is telling us to do. Where the best rates are for our clients, where the best pricing is for our clients, what the most thorough inspectors are. So with that said, we've kind of been in the business together for quite a while, working together, and we've pretty much seen it all. We've had babies at the closing, we've had dogs at the closing, we've had times where we're sitting at a closing table wondering if the seller will show up.
That's true. Yes, we have.
So we've really seen it all.
Good and bad and ugly.
And honestly, all of these, like the details, the things that we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes.
And it's our goal to make it seamless and to make it easy and stress-free for you, because buying a home should be exciting. It should be fulfilling, and it should be very educational and rewarding. And so it's easy to get lost in the details. We're here if you have questions.
Yes, we are.
We are available to do as much hand-holding as you'd like. I mean, we
Yes.
will explain every detail to you and
not.
tell you every single step in what we're doing behind the scenes. And I could text you at 6 a.m. to let you know that I'm putting the paperwork together right now, but you probably just don't want to be bothered. Once you get like enough information about your file, you feel confident in us and trust us and allow us to kind of work our magic. There's an unbelievable amount of work that goes behind the scenes. A real estate transaction is not cut and dry. Nothing is ever the same.
Never ever.
Right. This episode has been scheduled for a few weeks, and it's just very convenient that it butts up to a closing now that we're going to have at 1 p.m. here, where we're going to close a file earlier than the projected date, but later than the projected thought. So the process is never cut and dry, and it's never the same. There are always changes that are made throughout the process, and that's why having a team that has strong communication skills is invaluable. To introduce you to my latest homeowners, the Ames. They just purchased their first home and closed, and they want to tell you just a little bit about their experience.
Yeah, so we're here at Presque Isle Closing, and we just closed on our first home. First-time home buyers. We're very excited. Move-in process next, and
More paperwork than you expected, or less?
just about where we expected.
Yeah.
We were a little bit prepared beforehand, so yeah.
Right. It wasn't a very smooth ride, and they never are. But there's a team behind you working very hard to make this all happen, as though it's easy. So sometimes you see it, and sometimes you don't. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. So thank you guys for your patience and understanding, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better team, honestly, between Max, Laura, and Lynn.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
And now we're #sold by Max.